Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? I actually was about to record a video to explain my designer something because we create designs and again, the designs look really nice. Our designers do an incredible job, but obviously I have to educate them at times on following certain patterns, following certain traditions, following certain conventions that actually look really nice and translate really nice when you actually have to take your Figma designs to an actual code base. And even when you're working on a Figma design and you have multiple individuals working on it, it gets very hard if you don't use these standards. And I'm going to be talking about them, even though I will be sharing this video with my designer, but I wanted to post it. Maybe other people can actually benefit from it as well. And if you benefit from something like this, again, this is really day-to-day stuff. Like for example, if you were a designer in my team, you would probably get feedback like this as well. So if it's not relevant to a larger audience, that's fine, but I just wanted to experiment with it. So if we have a look at this design, this design looks good. But one thing, and actually there are a bunch of things that I don't really like, but one thing that I don't really like are these date separators. The fact that the date separators should be there, I think the date separators are very valuable in this use case. But the problem with these date separators is it's actually a gray background. A gray background as a background doesn't really sit, especially as a separator, should not sit above a blue background. Rather, it should be a shade of bluish and grayish and something along those lines. That's going to look a lot better. So I was planning to actually change that. And then I noticed, unfortunately, that we only have primitives defined here. So if you have a look at my, let's say, variables file, we only have primitives. Now, the problem with primitives is, and people don't even understand what primitives are. I actually have a video on, let's say, the types of tokens, and I'm going to attach that so people can understand that and look at my YouTube video. But primitive is something like this: blue 300, gray 100, gray 200. But the problem with primitives is no one really understands how to use them. Even the designer who created them don't really understand how to use them because they're not supposed to be understood when you're using them, right? So for example, if you're looking at a file like this, how would anyone know that a muted text color should be, let's say, gray 5, gray 4, or we can say gray 500, 400, 600? No one would know, right? If you're working in a large file that has a lot of primitives, just by primitives alone, you would never understand what exactly are those primitives used for, because that's not the purpose of primitive tokens to begin with, which is exactly where semantic tokens come in. Separately, apart from the whole understanding part, a lot of people, again, most designers who are really low-level designers, they may have like 5 or 6 years of experience, but low-level designers in terms of not thinking in design systems, not thinking about efficiency, not thinking about multiple people working in files, not thinking about a large product, make mistakes like this. Perhaps they don't even create these tokens to begin with. So I'm not talking about like really low-level designers. But the problem is that even if, let's say, we don't talk about a person not understanding what these tokens are for, the second thing is that since gray 1 or gray 100, whatever the token name is potentially being used in a lot of places. If I was to go ahead and, let's say, update this color, gray 100, let's actually get to it, to something that I actually want to use here, right? Something like this. As you can see, actually, I'm not going to use this because this looks ugly. I'm potentially going to be using something like this with reduced opacity, so that like maybe 10% opacity or something like that. Actually, even less, 5% opacity. I think this looks much neater in terms of what I actually want, but it went ahead and screwed with so many different things. You can see it's screwed here. The gray color, if I just go ahead and actually increase this and just go ahead and do that. As you can see, gray 100 is used in so many different places that it's going to basically destroy the design if I just wanted to go ahead and update this, which is exactly why we don't do that, right? We don't go ahead and actually use this. Let me just press Command Z to revert most of these things. So what do? We create a semantic token for that. So what I'm going to do here, first of all, is I'm going to go into my variables and I'm going to name this variable collection is going to be named primitives. The second collection is going to be named semantic tokens, obviously. And then we're going to go ahead and create a token. So I'm not going to create all of the tokens. I'm going to be sending this video to my designer who can potentially take on the task on creating the tokens accurately. Very similarly, if I was to, let's say, go ahead and actually have a look at this background, right? Have a look at the background of the card. It's white 600. Now, if a new designer comes in, he's creating a card. We don't want him to think that, okay, I'm going to go back to the previous screens and I'm going to figure out, okay, what exactly is the background for the card or something along those lines. No, that is weird. We don't want people to do that. Rather, we're going to be defining our tokens in a way that is much easier to understand. Like for example, and we're not going to be doing that with component tokens. We're going to be doing that first with semantic. And then if the design system is very large, then we can go into, let's say, component level tokens. But I think for a small design like this, semantic tokens are going to be sufficient. So I'm going to say BG minus surface. A surface, or we can say foreground and background as well. Actually, whatever your team is comfortable using, we can use that particular term. Surface, I actually like surface because it's being used very commonly. So the surface for most of these cards and anything that basically sits on a surface, it's going to be white 60. And white 60 is even though I don't like the term white 60, I think that is a primitive, should be updated. But let's assume that I don't change that. That is going to be your BG surface. And then we're going to have another BG surface, which is something that I actually need for my date separators. And that's going to be BG minus primary minus faded. So the primary color that we have is this blue. And I want to go ahead and actually say that this is going to be our primary faded. But again, I forgot to define surface. So it's for a surface that actually sits outside of, let's say, the background. And the surface is going to be a primary fade. Primary faded, primary fade, whatever it is that you want to use. And this particular token is going to be linked by a primitive. Let's see if we have a primitive that we want to use. I personally don't think we have a primitive that we want to use. So I can say that I want to create a few primitives. The first primitive is going to be faded minus primary. And this is the one that we're going to be linking to that. So let's go ahead and actually see if we can get that. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to link both of these variables together so that we can go ahead and when we're actually playing around with them, we can see the effect that's actually having. So faded minus primary, and we can use the same terms. Let's use primary minus faded here because we define the actual object first, whether that's like white, whether that's like green, whether that's like whatever. And then we define the variation of it afterwards. So I'm going to say primary minus faded. And similarly, we can have a primary as well. We already have that primary 0, primary 1, primary 2, so on and so forth, right? So let's go ahead. Now that I've defined that, I'm going to go to this particular component. Thankfully, my designer has made this component. And we're going to go ahead and choose this component. I'm going to say primary. Let me actually go ahead and choose that. Okay. I don't think we need a border, so I'm going to remove the border thing. So once we have that, we're going to go into our work in progress. We can see the actual background being applied here. And is the border applied here as well? Yes, I can see the border applied here, but why is the border applied here? There is a stroke coming for whatever reason on this. Let's see why. Okay, the stroke is coming. I thought I actually removed that, but anyways, I'm going to remove the stroke. And then we're going to go ahead and update our variable. So this is the variable that we have on semantic, primary faded, and we have to update the primary faded variable. So this is going to be a primary color. I think this is much better. And let's go ahead and see if we want to increase the opacity. I think this is fine. Let's do it. So I think this is fine and we can experiment with it if we want to, but this looks much more balanced now. It isn't in your face. It's just a divider that needs to be there that a person can subtly have a look at. Very similarly on the cards, I'm going to go to the cards themselves and I'm going to open the component. Let's go. And ideally, the component names should be capitalized. I actually like them having capitalized, but that's not a restriction. And then here, we're going to go ahead and actually go to our surfaces. And I'm going to choose BG surface. So now we have that BG surface linked. Very similarly, we have to create semantic tokens for the borders and text and all of that, but I'm not going to be doing that in this video. So I think this is solved now. Now, we also have these different types of things actually being used or different backgrounds being used in this places. In this case, because it's sitting on a white background, I don't really want the primary faded background. I actually want a normal fade. I don't even have to say primary or secondary because it's just like a faded background. So I'm going to go to this particular file. As you can see, it already references gray 0. I think the background for gray 0 is perfectly fine. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to create another semantic variable that's going to be a color that's going to be BG minus surface minus faded. And ideally, we can have that as the second one as well. Here, we're going to go ahead and choose what exactly is this. This is your color, which is gray. I think it was gray 0. Gray 0. So we have linked that, and now we're going to go ahead and actually change gray 0 here as well. The good thing about, again, semantic tokens is when a person has created a design system, the next directive should be you will only interact with, let's say, the semantic tokens, not the primitives. So once we do that, we can go ahead and say this is going to be our surface faded. And then I think everything should be fine. That's done. Now, a few other things. The first thing that I want to point out here is that when we're actually defining something like this, like for example, messages 3 or filters 2, if filters are 2, that is not something that a person should be alerted by. When you have a count on the filters themselves, the purpose of those filters or that particular count is to identify the state. And in the state, we don't really go ahead and choose red because we're just identifying some information that's sitting there, right? So for example, if I was to go to this particular tag, and the problem with this tag is it's named in terms of colors. Actually, this was green. I went ahead and changed that, but I thought I might as well tell you in the video itself. This one should be success. This one should be alert. If you want to alert someone to it, again, whenever you're naming your variants, ideally try to make them purposeful so a person can understand what is it for. Like imagine if I have buttons. Why do we use primary button, secondary button, tertiary button? It's to identify that, hey, if you want a button to be doing the primary job in this particular screen, you need to use the primary variant or the secondary variant or the tertiary variant. Very similarly, we have to define that here as well. This is going to be alert. This is going to be warning. And this one is going to be your info because, I mean, it's just gray. It's just like info. We can slightly make it bluish as well, but I'm perfectly fine with gray. So in this case, what exactly is the purpose of this count? Is it to alert someone? Is it to give them a warning of something? Is it to showcase some success? Or is it just for information? If it's just for information, it can be blue. Very similarly, if I go here on the messages one, what exactly do we want to highlight here? If we consider the messages coming in this particular system to be of high alert, then we can go ahead and actually show this alert. But I don't think that is the case. I think this is just an info as well. So we're going to go ahead and use info here as well. Now, if we want, in some cases, maybe the info can have two different types of variants themselves. Like in one case, it can be just, let's say, a bit deprioritized. In the other case, it can be a bit higher priority. Then we can go ahead and create two variants for the info itself. Very similarly, one minor thing that I wanted to highlight my designer here is in this particular case, I don't think the linear gradient should actually be using gray 4 or for the bottom one. It should maybe be a bit more subtle. Gray 3 should be fine. We don't have to make the gradient that highlighted here. So I think that's pretty much it. Now, it's really important when we're going ahead and actually creating designs to actually create a design system that is well designed. It's purpose oriented. And especially if you have multiple people working on a file, they're not using primitives to actually use it in the design, because if they are, it's going to be very confusing for a new person to come in and even understand the conventions. Like, for example, if I go to this text color, it says the text color is gray 9. Like, how is a new designer going to know whether the text color should be gray 9, whether it should be gray 8? If I want to have a secondary text, should it be gray 6 or should it be gray 9 40%? That doesn't even make sense. We shouldn't even have a primitive like that. Should it be gray 5? No one knows. And this is exactly what semantic tokens are used for. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Do subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.